The guys at Cloudflare rebuilt Next.js in a week. Because sure, why not? So last week, one engineer and an AI model rebuilt the most popular front-end framework from scratch. The result, vNext, let's have a look at it. There we go. It's under the MIT license, so you can go and do what you want with it. Is a drop-in replacement for Next.js built on Vite. It must be Vite. That deploys to Cloudflare workers with a single command. In early benchmarks, it builds production apps up to 4 times faster and produces client bundles up to 57% smaller. And we already have customers running it in production. The whole thing cost about $1,000. So some engineer at Cloudflare was like, Next.js, everyone loves it, we have to use it, but good God, it's clunky. Let me see if I can rebuild it. And he did. Next.js is the most popular React framework. Millions of developers use it. It powers a huge chunk of production web, and for good reason. The developer experience is top notch. But Next.js has a deployment problem when using a broader serverless ecosystem. It takes a long time to build. Every time you deploy, it takes a long time, and that time adds up and is wasted. So what he's done was created a version that builds 4 times faster by rebuilding it from scratch. Very cool. It's called vNext. This is one example of once you start using AI and once you start building stuff, you will have questions about, what can I do with this? And instead of researching and trying to find the answer for that question, you can just start building. You will realize what the limitations of AI are, what it can do, what it can't do. You will just be learning by doing. So I just highly recommend getting your hands dirty and starting to build, because there's some very cool stuff being built and everything seems to be speeding up. We thought that 2026 everything would maybe slow down, maybe we'd see a plateau, but we're going in the opposite direction. And the other big one, which knocked 10% off IBM, this was earlier in the week. Anthropic had Claude Code refactor legacy COBOL applications. How long has COBOL been around? COBOL has been around since 1960. So it's a 66-year-old programming language. Now, that sounds mad, but it is used in a lot of enterprise-level systems. I'm not sure the percentage, but it is still a very important language in enterprise mainframes and systems. So very old, 66-year-old programming language. So Claude Code refactored some legacy applications, and that sent IBM stock price dropping by 10%. So this is another example, like this rebuilding of Next.js, example of giving a complicated task, giving it to AI, and AI being able to get on with it and finish the job. Although COBOL is everywhere, especially in sectors like finance and government, the number of people who understand it is shrinking every year. Developers retire, documentation is out of date, and only a handful of universities are teaching COBOL. This is a 66-year-old programming language. Rewriting COBOL applications isn't easy. You reverse engineering business logic from systems built when Nixon was president. AI tools like Claude Code and OpenAI's Codex can massively speed things up, modernizing in quarters what would have previously taken years. They can map dependencies, document forgotten workflows, and identify hidden risks. So why does this matter to IBM, and why did its share price take a 13% hit? One blog article took 13% off their share price. It comes down to IBM's mainframe business, the core of Big Blue's original success. Those COBOL applications aren't just legacy software, they require legacy hardware to run, that is mainframes. COBOL means finally moving off of mainframes as well. Investors seem to have been spooked, going on an IBM selling spree. So basically, IBM are providing these mainframe computers still, because that's what's needed to run the COBOL code. But if you're refactoring legacy COBOL applications into more modern languages, because COBOL is difficult to use and it has very few people who can actually do it, then you don't need IBM's mainframes. And that was enough to take 13% off IBM's stock price. Let's see what see if it's still going down. Oh, it went up. Is this it? This is probably it. Oh no, that's 5 day. There we go. So yeah, it had a bit of a hit. To be fair, it has been in free fall for the last 6 months. IBM stock suffers worst crash in 25 years, thanks to Anthropic's Claude Code. This is what we're starting to do with vibe coding or agentic engineering. AI taking control of the coding process is last year we were using it on little toy projects, and even Andrej Karpathy, the guy who coined the term vibe coding, he said when he first coined it, it's great for little weekend projects, fun little toys. In a year or so, we are suddenly getting AI swarms that can do things like build a C compiler Claude Code put together a C compiler with a team of parallel Claudes. It took $20,000 in API costs. It had 2,000 Claude Code sessions, and it produced a 100,000 line compiler based in Rust. It was 16 agents all working together, orchestrating, checking each other's work, and continuing on for 2 weeks until the task was done. So we are seeing vibe coding, or agentic engineering, which is the more grown-up term for it, start to crack big projects. It is not just for putting together a nice little website or a silly little application. It is starting to be able to do tasks that knock 13% off IBM stock price. Or, in this case, rewriting Next.js and coming up with a way to deploy production apps 4 times faster. And this is 1 week and 1 engineer working on this, and he spent $1,000 in tokens. Yeah, it's not slowing down.